Well, good afternoon and happy Labor Day. It's hard to believe that the summer is almost shot in the butt already. I'm going to be showing you in this video some stones that I think are interesting, some that are unusual, and I'm going to begin with these three, which are three stalagmites or stalactites. I'm not sure how you tell the difference unless you actually see where they've formed in the in cave. I put the dime down here for size comparison. These are not, really big ones, and these were found at different places here in Saginaw, Michigan that have had rocks brought in for decorating, landscaping and such. This one is particularly a favorite of mine. It actually looks like a coprolite, but it is not. It is just a really interesting piece that you could easily mistake it for a horn coral, but it has no of the structure that you would see on the ends that a horn coral would have. So that's an interesting piece, as are these other two. And I believe these were all found at on Gratiot Street in the parking lot of the First Merit Bank there. By the way, if you don't have a bank that you use and you're in Saginaw, I would highly recommend First Merit on Gratiot. Jennifer, who is the branch manager, is an awesome, awesome person. She is absolutely just wonderful, and everybody that works there is, they really treat you like you're part of their family and that they care about you. But anyways, enough on that. So these three are the first ones I wanted to show you. While they were found in Saginaw, I don't know exactly where they originated, though, or where the stone was brought in. Now here's another interesting piece, and I actually found this in the flower garden of where I'm living right now in Saginaw. And it's red. I believe it's jasper. Very nice looking, very pretty piece of stone. But I think there's more to it than just that. I was told that the stones that were here in the flower garden outside my apartment actually were from the out west, and I can see this as being that kind of a stone. I don't think jasper occurs naturally in Michigan, at least not this kind. But what's really cool about this piece is looking at the shape. It's very easy to imagine that this was a pottery trowel, and I really believe it was. And what helps me with that decision is that you'll see a residue in the upper left there quadrant, which is a light salmon color, which is the color basically of pottery when it's being made before being fired, a terracotta type color, but lighter than terracotta. Interesting stone. Like I said, I believe that it is a pottery trowel, and it will be in my collection as such. It's hard to get a good image of it this way, but you can see this would be the handle, and it would be very easy to use that in smoothing pottery. All right, this is a fossil-bearing rock. Again, this was found at the parking lot of First Merit Bank here in Saginaw, Michigan, and I believe it has on it a trilobite. It's hard to see it here. It's right here, and it has spine sections. I don't know if you can see those coming up on either side, here and here. Try to get a better close-up image of it for you, but I'm pretty sure that it is a trilobite. Not a real good specimen, but a specimen nonetheless. Trilobites, if you don't know, had thousands and thousands of species that lived in ancient oceans, including those that covered Michigan at one time. And as far as anybody knows, they are all dead now. They are all extinct. There are no species of trilobites that exist anymore. But I always leave it open that perhaps there is, because the depths of the ocean have not been adequately explored. We know more about outer space around us than we do about the depths of our own oceans. So there could still be a trilobite species alive in some of our ancient oceans. I'm going to try to get another close-up here. I don't know if it's going to work, so that you can see those spines I was telling you about. No, it wants to go out of focus when I do that. But anyways, there are other fossils going on in this rock. Sorry for the shakiness there. Almost dropped the camera. But that is the principal one. And the trilobite is from here down to here. So I'm saying about an inch, inch and a half in length. The other side has, it's hard to see it on this video or with the lighting, but it has a lot going on in here that I don't understand, and I'm going to have to do a lot more studying in order to figure out exactly what's going on fossil-wise in that part. Now here's another fossil, the same kind of stone that the trilobite was on. This one has a very delicate fossil impression right here. I don't know at all what it is. It has almost a leaf shape. It's not a leaf. It is an ocean-dwelling, I'm sure, fossil. Or not the fossil, but the critter was. But it begins here, goes to here, and wraps around on this side. And then if you look right here, there is a, oops, sorry. It looks almost like a, the head of a crinoid. I wish I could get a closer shot of that for you, but it has little, like petals almost, like the head of a crinoid does. Petals isn't the correct term, but, and then an interesting small body here. I'm not 100% sure that that's what it is, but it's what it looks like to me. In size, you can see compared to the Roosevelt dime there, that it's not a large fossil, but then again, it doesn't have to be large to be fascinating. It doesn't have to be large to make it an interesting scientific discovery, because every time you go out looking for fossils, you never know. You may find something that's brand new that nobody has ever seen before. I doubt that that's the case here, but I am considering very closely that this is a crinoid head right there. Inside of every stone or rock, well, not everyone, but many, there's a secret world that God has created too. I love geodes that when you open them, you'll find amethyst crystals or other crystalline worlds that are absolutely stunningly beautiful. I found one that has what looks like a tropical storm bending over trees in it. This is not the one. I did make a video with that one probably a year or so ago. But what's cool here is this is not hollow. It is a very granular stone. And inside, it's almost a silver gray color. And while it's not a particularly valuable specimen, it is a very interesting specimen, because it never ceases to amaze me what God makes and puts around us for our enjoyment and our fascination. This particular rock is just absolutely awesome as you sit and contemplate it. It's a tannish, there's tan and dark tan on the surface, which goes, part of the way in. As you can see, it's very granular, very crystalline structure in that there's very small crystals, not just in the center, but throughout the entire piece. I'm not exactly sure where I found this one, but again, I believe it was probably at the First Merit Bank on Gratiot in Saginaw, Michigan, where the stones there are so cool. But you got to know what you're looking for. You've got to be able to recognize fossils and something that is highly unusual, like the last one I showed you, which possibly is a crinoid head. Lastly is this piece of chert. This was found at McDonald's on Michigan and Gratiot, Irrigate in Saginaw. It's not a native Saginaw piece, but I believe it to be an artifact. You can see where it's been notched in both these places, and they are extremely sharp notches. It could have been used here as a graving spur, and then, so there's been a dual purpose artifact. It is flaked on both sides, not extreme like an arrowhead or spear point would be, but it is flaked to create this piece. This usually doesn't occur like this naturally, but you find a lot of artifacts laying around Saginaw, as I've explained before. While this was in stone at the McDonald's restaurant in Saginaw, oftentimes when I'm walking, I find artifacts because the area was so occupied with Native American Indians for thousands of years. I showed you the piece of red jasper that I think is a pottery trowel. I'm reminded, and I have no photographs of it unfortunately, a beautiful yellow, deep yellow and orange jasper scraper that I dug out of my backyard. Definitely not material that's found here. Didn't come in the glacial till, and was one of the most beautiful artifacts in color that I'd ever found. Unfortunately, money was extremely tight at that point in my life, and I had to sell it. And I thought I kept pictures of it, and I didn't. But at least the person who got it had a full disclosure as to where it was found, how, and all of that. Well, that's about it for what I wanted to show you on this particular video. I hope you've enjoyed looking at these. If you have any comments, ideas, suggestions, don't hesitate to let me know, because I always love to hear from the viewers of my channel. Have a great holiday weekend, Labor Day, and God bless.